West Texas, Jones AT&T Stadium, hosting a December regular season home game for the first time in 44 years. The Kansas Jayhawks looking for their first win of the season. And the Texas Tech Red Raiders here on Senior Day trying to keep their bowl hopes alive. Hi, everybody, and welcome. It's great to have you. Along with Charles Arbuckle, I'm Guy Haberman. Texas Tech will be without head coach Matt Wells today. Tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday. Confirmed that test Friday, so Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator, takes over.
New name, new person, but he's been in the fold. And that's what they're going to say. They're going to have a different voice, but it's a new guy that's going to lead them to the charge. Matt Wells was just on the stadium a few minutes ago.
All right, same deal, similar at least for Kansas. DJ Elliott, the defensive coordinator, out, so Jordan Peterson will have those duties. So the defensive coaches, Peterson and Patterson, they got two good running backs to try and corral today. Two guys who played very well last week, Amari Pesic-Hickson for Kansas and Sir Roderick Thompson for Texas Tech.
Well, if you look at Amari Pesic-Hickson, he was able to run for 100 yards. The Kansas running back hadn't been able to do that. They need that today against this Tech defense. On the other side, Sir Roderick Thompson leads a three-headed running back combination that can really get after you. 200 yards after contact last week. Let's see if they can do that against this Kansas defense.
Well, it's not just about the ground game, though. We've got a matchup of two of the best young Big 12 players. The corner for Kansas, Karan Prunty, a true freshman. And then how about Eric Uzakama, just added to the Blitnikoff Award watch list this week?
Prunty thinks he can guard anybody. He's a Big 12 guy that has 9 pass breakups, wants an interception, but says teams are moving away from him. I don't think that's going to happen if he has to go against Uzakami, who also is known as easy. We'll say that a lot today. This guy can make plays. He's big and physical. I look forward to watching this matchup.
Yeah, easy against K9. A couple of good nicknames, too, between those two. And a good matchup ahead. Texas Tech looking to win 3 conference home games for the first time since 2009. Kansas trying to break through. The kickoff is next. The last meeting between these two teams was one of the thrillers of 2019. With just seconds remaining, a 40-yard field goal attempt was blocked, but Texas Tech fumbled the ensuing return in a tie game. Kansas, 2 seconds left. Liam Jones got one more shot at it, and from 32 yards away, he nailed it. And Lawrence went wild, 37-34. That was the final, and for Les Miles, it was his first Big 12 conference win. Year number 2 now in Lawrence, and of course, a decorated head coach, one of 6 actives to have won a national championship. Meanwhile, on the other side, we mentioned Keith Patterson, the acting head coach today in place of Matt Wells. Came with Wells from Utah State, previously at ASU and West Virginia as the defensive coordinator. Texas Tech won the toss and deferred the decision to the second half, and so Kenny Logan Jr. will bring it out for Kansas to about the 17-yard line, and that's where we will see the Jayhawk offense for the first time today. And Jaylen Daniels, the youngest quarterback to ever start for Kansas, he returns after starting last week. He was benched during that game, and it looks like he will in fact not be the starting quarterback today. It'll be Miles Kendrick, who came on and replaced Daniels and was effective, throwing for a career-high 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. So a surprise start at quarterback. And here is Daniel Highshaw, who did not play last week. He was unavailable. And so, Charles, let's show everybody Miles Kendrick.
Yeah, I think the big thing is his ability to move. He came in and stabilized. He has a better passing percentage and just understands this offense. And I think the big key is they love what Jaylen Daniels can do, but this offensive line has a lot of key parts that are moving around, and you want to have a veteran guy that maybe can come in and hold it down some.
They've allowed 42 sacks this year. That's the most in the nation. Highshaw remains in the game, but he gets bottled up immediately. So Pesic-Hickson, who had the big game last week, of course, we saw the 100 yards that he ran for, but he got a little help back now. Still Velton Gardner out for Kansas. And now a 3rd down and long, which is a familiar spot for this Kansas offense.
On the right side of this Kansas offense, Adams Reed and Cable Dew are both freshmen. The right guard, right tackle. That last penetration you saw from Tech came from that side.
Communication up front. Adagio Lopetti, who was not available last week, back and is the center. On 3rd and 11. Kendrick trying to make a play. High shot there, but he gets buried by Colin Schooler, the grad transfer from Arizona, and he's made a habit of that in his 3 months here in Lubbock.
Well, he reminds me of a guy that we coached at the AAF, Scooby Wright, would make plays like this, but when you throw late across the field, that's what can happen. Schooler is a big-time hitter. He's going to go tell Miles Kendricks, hey, look, man, let's work together on this. Don't put me out there to dry.
Second in the nation among active players in career tackles is Schooler. Chukwuebuka coming up to take the punt from Kansas, and he's got a good return. Some space for Rabuka. Blocks in front, gets one, and finally gets brought down at the 18-yard line. A 42-yard punt and a 41-yard return.
Yeah, that was a huge return. This Tech team felt like on special teams they could have an advantage. And that guy right there, boy, you got to rally him around quick. If you don't, he can take off and go.
Alan Bowman will be the quarterback again for Texas Tech, coming off a 3-touchdown performance against Oklahoma State in a heartbreaking 50-44 loss last week. That was his first start in almost 2 months, and we'll see if at all we get Henry today. Columbia suffered a groin injury in practice last week. This is Sir Roderick Thompson after a gain of 1.
So Roderick Thompson, we're going to see a lot of him behind this nice offensive line here. Jack Anderson, Caleb Rogers, and then some of the special guys we've already talked about, Ezekama.
No Travis Kuntz today or TJ Vasher, both injured.
Yeah, we got 2 guys, one that's down now for Kansas.
Kyron Johnson.
Been a stalwart in that Sam linebacker position for him. Hopefully it's just the wind knocked out of him.
Kansas on defense is without Denzel Feaster today, the starting middle linebacker, the senior from Austin.
Taiwan Berryhill is also getting his first career start. The linebacker position.
Certainly been a challenging year for Kansas. And you take a look at Potter converging there. The first man there was Johnson. Then you see him trying to get up for a moment.
Kenny Logan coming in as well. This young defense has played pretty well, and talking to their staff. And Jordan Peterson, who's taken over the defensive coordinator position, just, talked about these guys really not quitting, just constantly fighting and battling. But there's some mistakes that they make, and we may see that today where they have to stop making those critical errors in situations like this, especially in the red zone.
3rd down, and Bowman will hand to Thompson again, who had a couple of big touchdown runs last week, and he gets the 1st down.
Well, Guy, I think if you look at this, some people turn on the TV and see Texas Tech running the ball 3 straight times. They do that, but they will hit you with the pass over the top as well.
1st down and goal. Thompson again. And this time bottled up. First man there, Sam Burt. Yeah, Matt Wells, when we talked to him this week and asked him keys to the game, he said run, and run the ball to set up the pass.
Well, Xavier White is a dynamic player. Chad Townsend, also Taj Brooks. They've got about 4 guys that they can go to, and they really make plays. So Roderick is a starter. They did this before.
Ezekama and Prunty. That's the matchup we were waiting to see. And Prunty wins meeting number 1.
They do this on film. They'll act like they're not doing anything, and guys will look to the side, and then the offensive line will even look, and then they'll snap the ball. Prunty says, no, I'm not having it.
Prunty and Ezekama again lined up at the bottom on 3rd down and goal for Texas Tech.
See right here, they'll do this, and then sometimes they'll quick snap it and try to get the defense off kilter. Didn't work last time. I don't think we'll see that again.
Twice last week they snapped it directly to Thompson. Bowman on 3rd down, plenty of time, and it's intercepted by Prunty. Went through the hands of his intended receiver, and Prunty picked it off. The first interception for the true freshman this year.
I'm going to blame that on Bowman. He threw that way too hard to the underneath crossing route. Watch this crossing route coming across. I think he's going looking behind, but he threw it behind him. And that's not a good throw. You have a guy coming across the field that if you hit him in stride, he has a chance to score. He put Jalen Polk in a bad situation and threw the ball too hard. Just give it to him easy so he can walk in for 6. Prunty had been talking about, I need an interception. The Grim Reaper, as they call him sometimes. Prunty finally came up with it, and that's a huge interception.
Prunty's teammates have been giving him a hard time. He said, I've dropped too many balls. Les Miles said, I believe he'll catch the next one. So Kansas with a big stop, and on the turnover, Kendrick cannot connect with his intended receiver, Stephen McBride.
Yeah, points you got to come away with if you're Texas Tech right there.
We've had a lot of changes on this offensive line. Last week started 3 true freshmen on the line, but again, Lopetti is back, starting at center in place of Garrett Jones, who had a couple of bad snaps last week. Amari Pesic-Hickson is the running back after the low snap there. Pesic-Hickson gets back to the line of scrimmage. These are the 2 teams that turn it over the most in the Big 12. Bradford and Hutchings, a couple of big sophomores anchoring that defensive line. We've already met Colin Schooler today. Zach McPherson has an interception in 3 straight games for Texas Tech in the secondary.
You got to watch him. He is a ball hawk, and he also will score. Has a couple of defensive touchdowns this year.
3rd down and a long 10 for Miles Kendrick. Pressure coming, gets rid of it. Tristan Golightly had to go off of his shoulder pad, and he could not, the true freshman, one of the many, bring it in.
Offensive
in coverage.
Sorry about that guy. The offensive line did a nice job protecting, and you're right. Golightly had a chance to catch it. I don't know if he would have been far enough for a first down, but that O-line, they saw some dog pressure with the linebackers and able to pick that up that time.
Second punt now for Reese Vernon, himself a true freshman, punting 11 times last week. A 42-yarder the first time that Wabuka returned almost to the line of scrimmage, the original one. Wabuka here, patiently getting a couple of yards. Better coverage this time for Kansas. Second time for the Red Raiders offense when we return. Second drive for Bowman after a red zone interception on the first one for Texas Tech. Second time he's faced Kansas, did it as a freshman back in 2018, who you can see had a great game. Texas Tech has had great success against Kansas, only lost to the Jayhawks twice in the series history. So first down from the 36-yard line, back to the ground. So Roderick Thompson again fighting for a couple of yards. This is a Kansas defense that allows almost 6 yards per rush.
119th in the FBS, 10th in the conference. They're not a very good rush defense, but they've shown some pretty good things this first couple drives.
Bowman's first completion of the day is Xavier White, the running back who can get out like that and make plays.
Yeah, and they really think he's going to be a special player with his ability to play not only in the backfield, but also get out in space.
Quickly they go. Thompson with a catch out of the backfield, and he picks up about 7 yards. They almost had 2 100-yard rushers last week with Thompson's 100 and Xavier White running for 98 against Oklahoma State.
Tempo trying to go fast this time.
Second down and short. This is White, his first carry. The young man who got his scholarship about a year ago from just a few miles down the road.
In Monterey High School here in Lubbock, he could really fly. 2 players down on this.
Kenny Logan Jr. wearing number 1. He is one of the Jayhawks down. And Taiwan Berryhill, the true freshman, making his first start. He has 28. He's the other. See if we can tell. There's 28 right in the middle of the screen. And then Logan comes in, and they both. First, Logan hits 14 White, and then you saw Berryhill take some of that hit as well. Just about 5 minutes gone by in this first quarter. As both players get tended to. Logan took a big hit last week and eventually came back into that game, and we'll check on both Logan and Berryhill when we return here to Lubbock. Here in Lubbock, you can see several Kansas Jayhawks kneeling and looking on with concern as their teammate Taiwan Berryhill still on the field. There's Kenny Logan, who was helped off. He was able to walk off, but as you can see, they've brought the stretcher out for Berryhill. Take another look. He wears 28 in white right there in the middle of the screen.
He's coming in the number 1 as well. Logan. It's just the conversion on Xavier White.
You can see him immediately reach for his head there.
His teammates are all concerned. This is the thing with football. When you have this, you want to make sure your buddy is okay. Both teams are out there looking, because as a football player, you've been there before, and you don't want to. You're hoping for the best.
Certainly, once you get to the gameplay, it's the worst part of it. And I know you've been in that position, standing, watching, and certainly all the concern for a young man who's, you mentioned it, making his first career start today from New Orleans, Louisiana, a true freshman.
Yeah. Coaching staff was really excited about him and, you know, what he was going to bring to the table today. But as you said, right away, he was just grabbing for his neck. Let's hope he's okay.
We got to him quickly. Logan remained down for a little while as well, and was very ginger in his walk-off. This has certainly been a long season for these Jayhawks. You can see Logan watching concern with everybody else. Dejon Terry, another one of the many freshmen on this team. And now it's the whole Jayhawks sideline getting a little closer to their teammate. Les Miles came out immediately. You can see him in the white hat just to the left of your screen wearing the headset. And there are fans in attendance here, and they are very hopeful as they applaud for Taiwan Berryhill, and now he'll get the well wishes and love from his teammates. Let's look at this play again one more time. And again, Taiwan wears 28. One was Logan, who came in, who also had to be helped off. 28 in white is Berryhill. And again, you'll see him reach immediately. And he gets another round of applause as the stretcher rolls off towards the tunnel. And now Les Miles and his team tried to relight the fire, which must be a difficult thing to do.
Yeah, we always talk about move the ball 10 yards down, and it's hard, though. Your guy, one of your warriors is not with you. Now you want to play and make sure you compete.
That play came in a moment when Texas Tech was really moving quickly down the field as Thompson drops that forward pass from Bowman, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, now that's the thing. Both teams have that. You know, this Texas Tech ball club was moving the ball pretty effectively, and right there you can see the first drop. They really were moving well, other than that interception by Bowman.
Nick Channel has come into the game now defensively in place of the injured Berryhill as Caden Leggett makes the catch. Again, no T.J. Vasher, no Travis Kuntz for Texas Tech. What does not having Kuntz do for Texas Tech?
That is huge because he is such a key weapon in the run game. They've got to go a lot of 10 personnel where they don't have a true tight end, and they're using receivers to do some of the run game action.
2 running backs in the game right now, although one of them is White, and he's lined up close to the formation at the bottom of the screen wearing 14 on 3rd down and 7.
So some 20 as well when you have 2 backs in the backfield.
Bowman cuts it loose, and he cannot connect with White.
But I'd almost say White acts like a receiver. That's one thing when you watch him on film. He can go out and run routes almost as good as receivers. And in this offense, if he's in the slot, he challenges those linebackers.
The play made by Nick Channel, who just came into the game. So a field goal try coming here from Jonathan Garibay, who's 5 of 5 on the season. His long this year is 48. This is from 47 yards out of the hold of Mark Richardson, and he has nailed it right down the middle. And so an emotional first quarter in that drive, and it ends with a Texas Tech field goal. Keith Patterson, they're the acting head coach today, the defensive coordinator for Texas Tech. This is the 2nd time he's been a head coach. He was the acting head coach at Pitt back in 2011 for the Panthers bowl game after Todd Graham left to take the Arizona State coaching job. 35-yard drive that resulted in a 47-yard field goal from Jonathan Garibay, who's now getting set to kick off. To Kwame Lassiter.
Dad played at KU in the NFL, 95 to 04.
And he'll let that fly. So the 25-yard line is where the Kansas offense will begin for the 3rd time. Fox Bet Super 6 has given away over $3 million. And now you can win cash prizes playing the Fox Bet Super 6 PBC boxing contest tonight during the pay-per-view event. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app for free and order the big fight on foxsports.com/PPV. Miles Kendrick remains in the game. He got the start today. Daniel Highshaw, who we saw in the first series, is back in at running back. The Jayhawks try to find a way to move the ball. It'll be Kendrick, the quarterback, keeping it, getting a block from Lassiter and picking up almost 6 yards.
Yeah, real nice block by Lassiter to allow Kendrick. And I said, this is the one thing that he does well. He'll get outside and he can make some things happen with his legs. Pretty proficient with his arm. You'll see Highshaw, everything moves to the right. He comes back left. You can see right there Lassiter getting the block and getting his legs out of the way before everything gets up on it.
Kendrick, 8 men drop into coverage, and he drops it off for Highshaw with enough yardage for the first down, the first of the day for Kansas.
The other thing you see right there is the protection by the offensive line. I'm going to talk a lot about that because these guys have not played well up front. You've got to protect the quarterback, whoever it is. Kendrick had plenty of time to settle in and throw the ball effectively. So one thing that Texas Tech said, they have to do a good job of getting pressure on the passer.
Luke Grimm is at the slot to the top. He's really come on lately for Kansas. Had a good game last week. This is Highshaw again, and a good chunk on first down of 7, maybe almost 8 yards.
Well, the one thing Kansas was confident in is they saw Oklahoma State running the football effectively. Look at this offensive line. Climbing to that next level. You see Adams Reed, big bodies getting in the way and just coming off the ball. Adams Reed, the right guard, 55, is 391 pounds, a freshman from DeSoto, Texas.
And Bryce Cable do the right tackle. The other true freshman on this offensive line. Quick pass right at the stick to Lassiter. DeMarcus Fields, who's having a real nice season, was right there. Nearly had another pass breakup. He leads the league in that.
Yeah, and Les Miles made a change November 20th to the offensive line. John Morikian is now the offensive line coach, and Les also in his past had been an O-line coach and wasn't happy with how this offensive line had been playing and developing.
Les Miles himself, a former offensive lineman at Michigan. Kendrick keeping it, gets out of the tackle of Merriweather, but then gets swallowed up. Thomas Leggett was right there.
This puts you in behind the chains. You know, you have an opportunity to just maybe lose a few yards. And Miles Kendrick tried to go back and make something happen. The defense wasn't having it.
Defense has given up so far this season 39 points a game, which is bottom 10 in the country. Kendrick. That's Luke Grimm, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and manageable. Be about a 3rd and 9 after the catch from Grimm, who is coming off a 2-touchdown game and lost to TCU.
His teammates call him the Grim Reaper. They were excited for him when he had those 2 touchdowns, and really has had a chance because of guys opting out, guys injured, and these young players are getting a good chance. Highshaw there, freshman out of Moore, Oklahoma as well.
And Lawrence Arnold out for surgery. Stephon Robinson also surgery. Of course, the running back position, Puka Williams opting out early in the season. 3rd down and 8 with Pesek Hickson in the game to try and pick up pressure. He does that. Lassiter makes the catch at midfield, but he's going to be about 5 yards shy of the 1st down.
Well, good call by the defensive staff with Texas Tech. They're going to go for it, but the one thing is, it looked like they were. I think they're going to kick it now. They bring pressure and force the quarterback to throw it quick. Now, I'm thinking in a game like this, you cross this area, you're going to have everything, all bets are off, and you and I are looking at each other like, I would go for it, right? What do you have to lose?
Well, the one thing you'd say, they've got an interception,
yes,
and they have held Texas Tech to a field goal. Reese Vernon to try and drop this one in. Wabuka, as that one bounces at the 15 and takes a good Kansas roll down to about the 8-yard line. So a nice punt. 3-0. Who expected that in the first quarter? Texas Tech just got 10 yards since we went away. The punt from Kansas. Look at the left of your screen, 39. Ryan Mulbro, that hits his foot.
Yeah, it hit right off of his foot.
So the ball, instead of being at the 8, is at the 18.
Initially, we thought it might have hit off the Tech player, but it did hit off of the Kansas.
David Alvarez and his crew all over it. And so it costs 10 yards on the punt average for Reese Vernon, who had dropped a nice one in there. Still having a hard time running the football here in the early going. Some shoving afterwards.
That's a little Ricky Thomas, it looks like. Yeah, they didn't call anything, but they were going at it.
Xavier White remains in the game at running back. Bowman against a 4-man pressure, flushed. And now we'll flip it out of bounds, and it's 3rd and long.
This defense has done a pretty good job today, except for a few plays where they were giving up a lot of yards. They've seemed to kind of figured out how to get after this offense.
Trying to make the decision to punt instead of going for it on 4th and 5 for midfield payoff. John Holcomb, the tight end, getting a lot of more of an opportunity with Kuntz out today. That went in motion. Bowman over the middle, and it is nearly intercepted. A flag comes in. Prunty was right there on Ezekama, but he might have committed a penalty.
Yeah, Prunty is always around the football, and I think you're right. This may go against them. He's not afraid of a challenge now.
Pass interference, defense, number 9, 1st down, spot of the foul.
And when you talk to the staff, that's what they say. His mental makeup is perfect for a corner. He just forgets about it, lets it go. If he makes a bad play, they said he's mechanical in his approach. Now, yeah, clearly he's going to hold Ezekama, but then he almost comes away with an interception, which would have been nullified.
As a Comet coming off the career-high performance, 183 yards against Oklahoma State. Trick play. This is Miles Price coming around. Down the sideline. Nobody around. One player racing from the other side. Elijah Jones won't get there. 70 yards for the Texas Tech touchdown.
These are the kind of things that happen to you when you're a team that's not performing and playing as well as you want. Prunty had an opportunity here, and not just him, but a lot of his folks. Watch this guy here. You're going to see it come all the way back here. Prunty has to keep contained because he is the guy there. You see, there's no one there, and he kind of gets caught slipping. Nobody else coming over to help him, but he has to be the guy to at least force that back inside. And that's the kind of thing, as a young player, sometimes you're so focused on other things. You got to stay mentally locked in. And that was a good play call by the Tech offense.
David Yost, the offensive coordinator, told us Miles Price, this true freshman, we got to get the ball in his hands. He's the most dynamic guy on the team when we do.
Yeah, everything works one way, and it for your eyes. That's what we always talk about, eye discipline. Well, he's got two guys coming after him. That's going to be a challenge for him anyway. But if he can stay outside and force those big uglies away from him and hope that the defense can come over. Miles Price saw that, said, whew, I got a convoy out in front of me, and I am going to the house.
And as you said, the margin's so thin.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what happens is you're on an island anyway, and they have been setting that play up. And Prunty is like, I'm over here. I have nobody. They're all motioning away. I've got to keep contained some kind of way and force anything I can. Now, he's going to be at a disadvantage, but at least he would have help coming from the inside. That's all he can really do.
It's a Texas Tech offense coming off a season-high 639 yards of production last week in the loss to Oklahoma State. In fact, they outgained Oklahoma State.
And they have explosive plays, too. That's the other thing, guy. They just, every time you see them, SaRodorick Thompson and Xavier White with big, long runs.
Kwame Lassiter is going to try and return this one. And he breaks a couple of tackles before he steps out at the 22-yard line. This was the old-school Big 12 shootout that we had. 639 yards of offense you see for Texas Tech. The 50 points for Oklahoma State. Tech trailed by as many as 3 scores in that game. Scored late, a couple of onside kicks, and one actually at 3. One of them returned for a touchdown by Oklahoma State. It was a wild one.
Yeah, I watched it both live, and then I watched it on tape, and it was just like, wow. Each team was just going back and forth.
Here's Kendrick, drops it in to Lassiter, who lunges forward. And yeah, at one point last week, there were 5 touchdowns between the two teams in a 6-minute stretch.
It just kept going. It was like, okay, I don't want this game to really end.
No, you're right. Second is short. This is the position Kansas has been trying to get in all year long on offense, and whistles and flags.
It quite looked like the offense was in sync on that play.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, multiple players, 5-yard penalty, still second in.
It was a quorum of guys. It was like, it was too many to call.
For a young team, that is actually, they've been good in that category.
Yeah,
they only average 6 penalties a game, second fewest in the Big 12. But that takes a second down and 3 and turns it into a second and 13. Pardon me, a second and 8 into a second and 12. Kendrick steps away. For a moment, it looked like he was going to get away.
Good coverage in the secondary there. Not letting Kendrick get comfortable. And as soon as his clock kind of got to him, he said, I got to get out of there. Jacob Morgenstern able to bring him down.
Well, Texas Tech is without Rico Jeffers today, who was injured during the Oklahoma State game. And so Kosai Eldridge and Jacob Morgenstern have even more responsibility on their shoulders. Now it's 3rd down and 6. Kendrick looking for go lightly, and this time he hauls it in with enough for the first down out to the 40.
Yeah, nice job there. Again, this offensive line, along with the running backs, giving him some protection. Watch the pressure coming. Hickson finding the guy. That's perfect. You see 23 looking up someone in that area. He doesn't venture away and make sure they secure it. This is what they're going to have in order to beat this Texas Tech team that brings pressure.
It's the first third down conversion of the day. Kendrick airmails this one looking for Grimm over the middle. Then it's second down.
Yeah, ball got away from him. They're going to have to make sure when you drop back and pass that everything is covered on that interior, because they've had a lot of leakage in the interior of the line. and Tech is going to challenge them there and go after the young side of it, it looks like already. Anytime they've sent a blitz today, it's been to the right side of the offensive line.
The two true freshmen are over there. Pesic Hickson has nowhere to go. Merriweather again. He's been a force in the backfield, just disrupting things and letting Bradford and Hutchings clean it up.
Yeah, Merriweather came like he was shot out of a cannon. Watch number one. He's going to just fire in there, man. Woo!
Well, he has delivered. The JC All-American who led the nation in tackles in junior college last year, and he's the leading tackler on this team.
I mean, he was like a heat-seeking missile. I was like, where'd that kid from Hazelwood, Missouri come from? Goodness gracious.
At the kitchen table in the weight room.
Yeah.
Third down and 11. Kendrick. Plenty of time, sliding around, looking.
You can't do this. Your clock has to go. You get away or throw it away.
Drew is now the man chasing. Merriweather on him. And eventually, 3 Red Raiders bring him down at the original line of scrimmage. Colin Schooler helped finish it off.
Yeah, bad things happen when you hold the ball that long. Good job by the Texas Tech defense of holding, and the receivers have to find a way to get open. But Kendrick got to just live to see another day, because he was going to exacerbate it. He was going to make it worse and just find a way to get rid of the football and move on to live to see another day.
So now Reese Vernon on to punt again. Shoots Wabuka, already has a big punt return in this game. Will take it and gets swallowed up. Go lightly, the first man there, 37 on the punt.
Wabuka's going to make everybody touch him on that return team.
That's right.
He just has a knack for making you miss, man. And he's short in stature now. They got him listed at 5'6". I think that's generous, but he doesn't care. He is really able to make people miss him and then pick up some yards, as we saw there.
16 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. A 70-yard touchdown on the last drive, and this is White in space.
Miles Price out there blocking well. This play was really nicely designed, and Bowman just easily gets it out there and let Xavier White do the rest with it.
So after a 44-point output last week, a 10-point first quarter for Texas Tech here in Lubbock. 1 quarter in the books, and the Red Raiders in front in the final home game of the season. Earlier today, senior day, 17 seniors in the class, including Colin Schooler, whose parents, Tom and Christine, went to his brother Brendan's senior day last week at Texas. As we begin the second quarter here in Lubbock with a big hole. And Xavier White getting across midfield. Matt Wells is not coaching today, tested positive for COVID-19. And so he was not allowed to communicate with the team in the final 90 minutes before the game, but he had a big message to the seniors on the video board. This is Jalen Polk. And as a flag comes down, I just want to mention, he did tell us this week he doesn't know how many, certainly as many. Yeah. Everyone can come back next year should they choose, and they'll make those decisions this week. Yeah,
they're trying to figure that part out and just have conversations with guys. There might be just some attrition because guys may say, I don't want to keep playing.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 14, 15-yard penalty, and to the end of the play, first down.
Steven Parker.
But they're working through that. Let's see here. Parker flying over the top 14. Got a hold of that face mask.
Bowman lofts one. Polk end zone. Brought it in, but he's out of bounds. Incomplete. And Texas Tech hustling back to the line.
Yeah, they're trying to get back quick. Heads up play by just a little nudge right there. Prunty at the end to get him out where he doesn't have enough space. Just enough.
Bowman, quick pass, this time to Caden Leggett. Has a yard. Nate Betts is there.
You've got Betts in the backfield. You've got Ricky Thomas also playing some of that safety position. They look like they've moved some guys around. Kyle Mayberry is now at the Hawk position.
There's Kenny Logan. Left the game earlier with injury. Tywin Berryhill had to be taken off the field on a stretcher on the Kansas defense.
So they're running a true 4-2-5 where they have those 5 defensive backs that can substitute and make moves around.
This is White, and he gets taken down, but not until he picks up a first down. The tackle there, Kyron Johnson, who had to be helped off the field earlier, he is back. We do have a flag on this play.
Xavier White runs very well between the tackles, even though he's about 5'11", 190. Sleek guy, real quick. Kind of nice little motor, one cut and go.
Offensive coordinator David Yost told us he loves this guy. He was originally a walk-on, got his scholarship last year on Christmas Day. Played that H position. They moved him
The result of the play
to
was
running
the
back.
line the game was made. It will be 1st and 10. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 50, unnecessary roughness, late hit. 15-yard penalty, first down.
That's Josh Berger, the right tackle. So they get the result of the play, which was the first down, and then they move back 15 yards from the end of that play. Take a look at the right side of the screen, 50 in red.
I see 50 late.
Hard to tell. I would imagine he was not engaged with that player before that hit. So they'll give it back to White. And this time, Caleb Sampson.
Caleb came in and made it. That was a really nice play, 98. Just finding a way to get through right here. He's going to just make a play. He's getting blocked, double teamed actually, and just fights through the double team. Really nice job.
And now a flag, a false start, as Texas Tech was trying to hurry up.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 19, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's on Loic Fungi, the true freshman who announced his presence last week with his first career touchdown. And he's been getting more opportunities as well.
But Tech seems to, like, they're starting to get some things going, and these penalties, and it's allowing this Kansas defense to make some plays. We just saw Caleb Simpson. That's these plays are just, it's just Sampson, excuse me, it's just off, no rhythm to their offense consistently.
Bowman on second down. Drops it off out of the backfield. Taj Brooks, his first touch of the game. And again, Nate Betts with a big tackle.
Great open field tackle by Nate Betts Jr. I mean, that was an outstanding play because Taj Brooks had open field. Watch this, just 34, breaks down, doesn't go by him, almost does, but he stays in and makes a nice tackle.
So now 3rd down and 17. Eric Izakama, who's yet to touch the ball, is lined up at the top for Texas Tech, the second leading receiver in the Big 12. Bowman's going to give it off this time again to Brooks. Brooks still on his feet and fighting. And that'll make it a 4th down and about 6, 7. but it does also move them maybe into field goal range now for Jonathan Garibay.
Yeah, Brooks is like their short yardage back, but they said he's tired of just being known as that. He wants to be an explosive guy.
Meanwhile, we've got another Kansas player down. Elijah Jones, who was lined up with Ezekama on that last play. Already without Logan and Berryhill on this defense today. Started the game without Denzel Feaster. Let's take another look at number 4 in white there on the left leg.
He gets caught up by his own guy. That's Tyron Johnson, who was out earlier, just kind of rolls him up. Friendly fire. Let's hope he's okay.
That looked very painful.
Yeah.
So now another field goal attempt for Garibay, who's already hit today from 47. This will be from 40 yards. And this one is his first miss of the season. Kansas, the Jayhawks bringing the defense here to Lubbock today. Kansas trailing by 10, about to get the football here in Lubbock. Of course, earlier this year we lost one of the all-time greats and a very proud Jayhawk. Gale Sayers, the 2-time All-American, 3-time All-Big 8 first team, over 4,000 yards, and of course a Hall of Famer.
Kansas Comet. He's a very special player. Great person too, from all indications. I never got the opportunity to meet Gale, but just from everybody in the Kansas community and the Chicago Bear community, he was just a much loved and respected guy.
Kansas with the football here, first down after the missed field goal by Garibay, and this is Highshaw with a big carry on first down as the Jayhawks try to get something going here on offense.
He had a really nice run against Oklahoma. And this offensive line, again, we talked about them being young, but look at them getting to that second level. Adams Reed again, the big right guard pulling, making some nice moves. 95. You find him, you're going to find a hole usually.
That was the longest play of the day for Kansas, 19 yards. This is up in the air for Grimm, incomplete. A flag comes in from the secondary, and Kendrick took a big hit as he was getting rid of that ball. Dadrian Taylor Demerson.
Kendrick took a shot, trying to get rid of the football late.
That was Leggett coming in. Remember, Kendrick started, not the freshman Jalen Daniels, who had been the starter. There's a couple flags, one way back in the secondary and then one near the line of scrimmage. It's David Alvarez.
There are fouls on both teams. Ineligible player downfield, offense number 61. Prior to the pass, holding defense number 25. Those penalties offset. Replay. First down.
Dadrian Taylor Demerson, the holding penalty. He was the one in coverage on Grimm, and then Malik Clark, the offensive lineman, committed the penalty for Kansas. Glad to see Kendrick's all right after that hit.
Got up a little bit gimpy. Now he's moving better. Leggett came in and really took his legs right from under him.
Ben Miles, the fullback, is now into the game, standing to the left of the quarterback, Kendrick. And Highshaw's going to try and run behind Miles, and he gets face masked and pulled out after 4 yards. So this will help Kansas.
Highshaw is running really effectively. He saw last week Amari Pesic-Hicks, and he's okay. I got to come back when I'm healthy. Make sure I'm ready to play. But that was an obvious face mask.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense, number 96. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play and an automatic. First down.
Philip Bleedy.
Big guys always chasing and they'll reach out. And he got face mask, jersey, everything else.
Took out a clipboard.
See a lot of 3-down line with this Texas Tech team. And then they bring those linebackers to have some pressure added to it. It's time just a 3-man rush.
Kendrick will slide down started the slide maybe behind the line of scrimmage. You might have lost a yard. Maybe they'll give them the original line of scrimmage on that. Make it 2nd and 10.
That was three rush, drop 8. And Kendrick just really was like, had nowhere to go. And that was a good job by the Tech defense of just like forcing him to make a decision where he wasn't able to find anyone.
This is as deep as Kansas has been in Texas Tech territory today. Highshaw motions out of the backfield, and he'll take that pass. Make a man miss, and Highshaw slips inside the 35.
One thing he does well, he's going to make one person miss, maybe 2. Again, Kendrick gets the ball out quickly. Nice move. Zach McPherson, a pretty good tackler. 50 tackles coming into this game. He just made him miss.
Highshaw remains in the game. Kendrick's going to keep this, racing for the first down marker, and he's very close. He might be marked just shy, and this is going to bring up 4th down and inches.
I think that was Taylor Demerson that was really chasing him. I mean, he came across the field and was just able to push him out of bounds.
Smiles is going to keep the offense on the field. Brent Dearman, the offensive coordinator. Highshaw, the running back, is lined up in the slot. Now he motions beside Kendrick. 4th down and inches. Highshaw, defense all over him. Dadrian Taylor Demerson, and of course, Krishan Merriweather.
And that play was doomed to fail from the beginning. Highshaw really didn't have anything going, and those, we talked about Merriweather earlier. Watch, just locking guys up, and those linebackers come off, and safety, nice play. Everything is gobbled up on the inside with the 5 interior linemen, and those linebackers fill and flow fast. Good play by Merriweather and Taylor Demerson.
So best offensive penetration, at least for Kansas today. Turn it over on downs.
Here's my pet peeve with that, too. You've been really running well, and almost, why don't you get under center and just try to sneak it? I know that might not be in your arsenal, but just bring it every now and then.
Here's Xavier White, who's just been running at will so far in this first half with another big carry. So Roderick Thompson started the game, but it's been all White since then.
Yeah, they will rotate, and whoever seems to have the hot hand, and this is Xavier White right now.
He's almost 8 yards a carry. Now this is Thompson back in the flow of things, but no gain.
But the other thing, too, we're going to see more of Xavier White in a 2-back combination because you don't have Kuntz this week. And so he can go out as a receiver. He can come back in the backfield. They're doing that right now with both of those guys. Kuntz is a key weapon in the running game. He has just really helped manufacture. So when you lose that tight end H-back guy, you have 2 running backs, and you use an extra receiver occasionally to take the place.
And he had a great receiving day last week against Oklahoma State. Bowman, long throw to Ezekama, who fights for it, makes his first catch of the game for about 8.5 yards. And will bring up a short conversion opportunity.
Talked about great work ethic and leadership. Just competes every day. Number 14.
Infectious practice habits. Ball is out, and Kansas recovers it. Thompson had it pop out, and coming out of the pile with it, Marcus Harris, the redshirt freshman. Second turnover of the game for Texas Tech.
Neither one of these teams have done a good job protecting the ball, but you can tell early that Kansas, this is a way for them to get ahead of the game. Good come and hit right on the ball.
Well, Nate Betts has been everywhere today.
Yeah, Nate, he puts his helmet right on the football, and then it's recovered by big number 50.
Texas Tech turns the ball over more than any team in the conference. That's now the 17th turnover of the season for the Red Raiders.
And they were -5 before this game started.
Kendrick looking to throw. Pressure coming. and he is sacked. Wow. Tyree Wilson, and there is the rocket ship, Krishan Merriweather again.
Yeah, this is great coverage again by the Texas Tech defense. And what it does is it just forces him to hold the ball. He has nowhere to go. Pressure already with Wilson and then Merriweather. I mean, he probably thought he had 15 guys he was playing against on defense.
Well, that was over 12.5 feet of defensive linemen laying on him between Merriweather and Wilson. And that's incomplete, broken up by Jacob Morgan-Stern. He was trying to get it to T.K. Williams.
God, that didn't feel like this Kansas team has to work so hard for everything they're getting. Even when they're having some sustained drives, it's just like it's methodical. It's so hard.
Well, any negative play has the feeling of being insurmountable.
Yeah. I mean, once they get some positive momentum, you're thinking, okay, they're getting ready to get going. And then it goes all the way the other way.
Remember, they trailed TCU last week 24-0, 12 minutes into the game. So on the scoreboard, they are in this thing, but they got to make some plays. Pesic Hickson gets it out of the backfield on 3rd down and long, and he'll come up about 10 yards shy of the line to gain.
And see, this right here is a prime example. He should get the ball a little bit sooner. He won't pick up the 1st down, but it becomes a field position game. It gets 5 more yards. The longer the quarterback takes to just kind of look and look and look, the worse for them to even get any kind of positive yards. Just working so, I mean, it's almost like they're swimming upstream on everything offensively.
Reese Vernon, another punt. Brandon Boyer-Randall almost got there. Here's Shooks Wabuka. And a nice return for him out to about the 38-yard line. So 10-0. That's where we stay here in Lubbock. Tomorrow, the NFC South leading Saints take on the Falcons, or Jared Goff leads the Rams against MVP candidate Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, or other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Cliff Kingsbury's Cardinals.
Oh, yeah.
At that.
Kyler Murray, Big 12 guy, right?
Oh, yeah. And he is having an historic season this year in the NFL. After the punt, here's Alan Bowman for Texas Tech, taking a shot downfield. Wide open in the pocket, Miles Price with the big gainer.
Man, he turned Ricky Thompson all the way around on that post corner route. Thomas was running with him, and that was a heck of a route.
Bouncing it outside, this time Taj Brooks. And he's able to find about 4 yards. A missed field goal and a fumble on the last 2 possessions for Texas Tech as they've gotten into Kansas territory.
This running back combination, they do a nice job of running hard between the tackles.
Brooks again, this time on the check with me. And Bowman really sells it with the pose.
Yeah, he does.
They should put a statue up outside of Bowman just standing there looking at his wristband.
Yeah, he's been doing some Hollywood acting. His acting class is working, y'all. Look, watch. What's the deal? He with the hand. Look at the hand like I'm showing you. I'm selling it, y'all.
Meanwhile, we've got an injured player for Kansas. This is Drem Robinson.
Robinson, another one of those freshmen out of Montgomery, Alabama.
Let's look for him on this replay, wearing number 90. Texas Tech has been moving the ball quickly.
Yeah. Want to say anybody's not doing something, but I would say this, that the tempo that Texas Tech is running sure is making it a little suspect. Well, and when you look to the sideline to do it, that's
well,
the thing.
You're right.
Yes. I mean, I never question if people are injured at all.
We'll check and see.
Never.
On his return, hopefully he is okay. Third down and short. Bowman will keep it. Now he'll throw it away.
Bowman had Kyle Mayberry barreling down on him. He said, okay, I got to get rid of this. And you talk about a guy that's been injured, has dealt with punctured lungs, cracked collarbones, hurt ankles. You know, this is his third year here. He had the red shirt in his true sophomore year, and then he had to come back. So as a red shirt sophomore, but just has had a lot of injuries.
And so now another field goal attempt. Garibay 1 for 2, lining this one up, hoping it'll land safely in the All-State good hands net from 41 yards, and it hit the upright.
Wow.
No good. He started the season 6 of 6, and now he's missed his last 2. Second missed field goal today for Jonathan Garibay, who took over against Baylor 3 weeks ago and had made his first 6 kicks. He hit the upright on that last attempt. This was during warm-ups earlier today. He hits the right upright. You
know what they say, the eye in the sky doesn't lie. I mean, our camera crew is all over it. He was all over the place with that.
Well, our crew figured we're rolling in at 6:30 a.m. We might as well start shooting. So good work, everybody. And this has been a mistake-filled day. The interception in the end zone, 2 missed field goals, and the fumble. And so Kansas, again, just trying to find something. They had their best drive of the day the last time out, but turned it over on downs in Texas Tech territory as Highshaw carries the ball. And by the way, for the crew that was here at 6:30,
yes,
I found out. Oh, it was 6. Hard to me. Either way, it was before the sun rises, and you know, in Lubbock in December before the sun rises,
there was ice on the street. It was pretty chilly.
When the broadcasters roll into the warm booth a few hours later, it's a different story. Here's Highshaw. Bringing up a 3rd down and a long 2.
Yeah, let's remind the viewers at home, Jalen Daniels, who struggled last week against TCU, was slated to be the starter. We have not seen him 17. And I think this offense is in a position now, 3rd and 2. They have to start capitalizing on some of these 3rd downs. They have really struggled in this area during the year. 23.4% 3rd down conversion on the year. And
worse than that today, 1 of 7. Kendrick keeping it. He's got the 1st down. And some extra. And a good pickup by him. The ball came out at the end of that play. Kansas says they have it, though. And indeed they do. Earl Bostic, the left tackle, following that play.
Good job by Bostic. This is a nice job of holding right there and pulling the ball out. And he's fighting for yards. Really nice play by Eric Monroe of just ripping the ball out, number 11, out of North Shore High School, by way of LSU.
One of the many transfers on this team from big-time programs making impacts, like Tyree Wilson from A&M. Here's Highshaw, a couple of yards for him.
And what they've done is they just really said, look, let's get behind. This drive has been Earl Bostic, Malik Clark, with a little bit of Mason Fairchild, and just smashing. Highshaw has to come out of the game a little bit nicked up. They really tried to establish the run to the left side of the line on this drive.
There's Luke Grimm with a 1st down catch, his 2nd catch of the day.
Yeah, Luke Grimm has really come on. We talked about it. The one thing that Miles Kendrick has to do a better job of, he has to stop fading back. You see how when he's throwing, he's fading back. He's still able to make that completion. And Luke Grimm with a nice catch. And they're telling them to go fast. Kansas coaches wanted them to go fast because the defensive substitution was taking place with Texas Tech.
That's just the 2nd 3rd down conversion today for Kansas. This is Pesic Hickson. He puts his head down and gets a couple. Pesic Hickson coming off the career day last week in his first start. He only had 11 total carries before he ran for 100 yards against TCU in the loss at home last week. Blitz coming. Kendrick goes the other way. There's Grimm again. Another catch and another first down for Luke Grimm, who was offered a scholarship at a Kansas summer camp last year. Played a lot of defensive back. They loved his testing numbers. The coaches told us his 40, his shuttle, and he got the scholarship, took it, and in the last 3-4 games now has really started to make an impact. Pesek Hickson patiently trying to find somewhere to go. Nothing on the edge, just got a yard. Coming up, the State Farm halftime show with Rob Stone, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and Urban Meyer. That's all coming up at the half. The State Farm halftime show.
And Pesek Hickson, Les Miles he said, we run drills, and you can see guys that enjoy a comfortable, competitive relationship with contact. Just made me laugh out loud, but that's a lessism right there. He talks about this, once he matures, he's going to be special.
Highshaw back in. Kendrick, good protection, dumps it off. Highshaw shoved out of bounds by Schooler, but it'll bring up a third down at about 2.
This is a very nice drive. We talked about putting one together. Now Kansas, can you finish the drive?
They shorted him a yard, 3rd down and 1. As we're under a minute now remaining here in the first half. Texas Tech will get the football first in the second half.
Texas Tech does a full cell package of substitution on defense. That about 5 guys that replaced the other 5.
And then they still didn't like what they saw, so they took the timeout. There's several cardboard cutouts in this stadium, as we've gotten accustomed to seeing. But real fans, the humans, also allowed here a allowable capacity of 15,000. Now, where's Waldo? There are some real people
There's
among.
Some real people right there. Look, right there. Yeah, they're within the cardboard cutoffs. And they said I can keep distance. I can keep social true distance, keep my mask on, and make sure I'm in the fake fans.
50 seconds remaining in this first half as Daniel Highshaw picks up a first down and keeps on rolling the pile down to the 11.
Yeah, Daniel Highshaw with the run right there. And your offensive lineman, Malik, you see Malik Cart? He gets happy because this is where they want to eat. Look at 61. He comes off. 72. You got all those guys inside. He doesn't go down. Look at him. Keeps the feet moving.
And a flag came in at the end of the play.
Earl Bostic just, mashing people. Will
Kansas get? Let's see what happens here. I think there's some discussion with David Alvarez and his crew.
See, you help an offensive line that's young by running, and your running backs that do that to get those extra yards takes it away from them having to sit in pass protection. They want to fire off and just knock people around.
After discussion, there is no foul. The contact was legal.
I think the question was about, there were some hits that happened as the play was ending.
You're taught echo of the whistle. And you saw a little bit late there, but I think it was still Bostic and then Adagio Lopetti. They were, at the end of the play, but they were still battling, and that's what you ask your offensive lineman to do.
Almost as many yards on this drive as they had on the previous 6. Searching for points. Kansas still has all 3 of its timeouts. Schooler gets a handful of jersey, and Kendrick just throws it away. He did have Highshaw in the area.
And you got a Tech defender that a little bit nicked up. Right here, you're gonna leak a guy out. I think Bostic has to go outside, 68. Schooler coming off the edge. I don't think you want him running free on your quarterback. And Bostic looked like he thought he was going inside the left tackle. Those are the little things that when you watch Kansas film, they'll do. They just miss those little things, especially here in the red zone where it becomes tighter. And you got to be on point, especially in the pass game.
They could pick up a first down at the 1-yard line. Kendrick pumps, and now is going to head for the sideline, and he stops the clock at 22 seconds. Kansas still with all 3 timeouts.
And I'll say this about this Tech defensive backfield after getting torched by Oklahoma State. They are playing much better, staying in their area, not giving up just easy plays. And you got guys like Schooler who are putting pressure. But I would say Zach McPherson has played well all season, but they were challenged against Oklahoma State last week. McPherson, the third highest graded cornerback, Pro Football Focus. And he is one of those guys that's getting a lot of looks for the next level.
And movement up front. Boy, if this is against Kansas, this is really going to hurt.
Adams Reed, I think, 55.
Ball start. Offense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty.
That's the center.
Still third down.
That's when you really get upset. I thought it was 55. Petty is coming in. They've had some issues with the center position, and he flinches. Can't do it. Yeah, those are the little things that you got to clean up. Have to.
Again, Texas Tech will get the ball first in the second half. Hishaw remains in the game with Miles Kendrick. Pressure coming, and he gets sacked. No, ball's out, then he picks it up, and then he gets sacked. Jalen Hutchings finished him off.
Tony Bradford and Tyree Wilson, that three-man combo, man, when they get after you, and I thought the 6'6" Tyree Wilson was going to take his head off. Zero. Watch, push him back, and then also Tony Bradford. I mean, everybody on that defensive line had a chance to hit Miles Kendrick.
And so Kansas will take the timeout with 3 seconds. Jacob Borchilla is the field goal kicker, and this is well within his range. His long this year is 48 yards.
Tony Bradford wants to be a police officer in the future. Also a Rockets fan, not happy with the Westbrook trade. Yeah, no, he wasn't happy with it. He's not sure. It wasn't anything against John Wall.
Oh.
He just said Russell Westbrook was his guy.
Gotcha.
You know, he likes the Texans. He likes the Rock. He's from Houston. He's an H-Town guy.
So you understand.
I understand. Loves early games. He said these guys on the front four, the D-line, they talk trash to each other about who's going to get the big sacks. They're going to probably have some food, some Whataburger on that one right there. Who gets the biggest Whataburger today?
With the extra,
on that, yeah,
with the extra big bun.
Yeah, the Texas toast on it.
Timeout taken by Texas Tech. Red Raiders have 1 remaining.
But I thought it was interesting, you know, Matt Wells was talking about it. He said Bradford was saying that, you know, every day Wells was just talking to him about production. I need you to produce. And he said early in the year, he was honest. He said, I wasn't producing like I should have. And coach called him out. But he said every day it's been one of those things. And that's what you need out of these. All those guys are sophomores, which is encouraging when you think about this defense and how Texas Tech hadn't been known for having good defenses in the last few years.
Well, and Matt Wells really made the point this week. He has really felt the change, the word he used, the vibe among his team. And Tony Bradford Jr., a guy he said that he's the kind of guy we want to build this program around. So now Borchilla out of the hold of Luke Hosford will try this 41-yard attempt to try and get Kansas on the board going into the locker room. And the Jayhawks, winless on the season, come away with 3 points. And Les Miles' team, as Borchilla gets up, he says, I'm all right. Les Miles' team will head to the locker room now right in this football game, aided by 2 missed field goals from Texas Tech, a fumble and an interception. We do have an injured Jayhawk on the field. Don't forget the State Farm halftime show with Rob Stone and Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and Urban Meyer is coming up. Texas Tech will get the ball first in half number 2. Kansas trying to break through with a victory right in it here in Lubbock. Here in Lubbock at halftime, a 10-3 game. Kansas hanging around with Texas Tech on this Saturday morning. And turn to the afternoon. Welcome into the booth, Charles Arbuckle, Guy Haberman. And there have been some mistakes from Texas Tech. Kansas hanging around right in it.
Giving them a chance. Texas Tech talked about Kansas would approach this as their Super Bowl, but they're giving them those opportunities to stay in this game and allowing them to make some plays.
We expected more explosives from Texas Tech. That's what they had last week against Oklahoma State. They did have one big one, and it's the only touchdown in the game so far. You take a look at some of the first half highlights, and it was on this trick play that Jalen Polk went 70 yards to pay dirt.
They had really set this up well and moved the defense over. Only one person there. Nobody could really stop him. He's able to go down the field for 6.
But Jonathan Garibay, who started 6 of 6, including his first field goal of the day, missed 2 field goal attempts.
I noticed you didn't try to jinx him either. It just happened naturally for him, and he couldn't get it back on schedule.
Had nothing to do with it. Daniel Highshaw didn't play last week against TCU. He looks well rested today.
Man, he was running with authority. I think the offensive line enjoyed blocking for him. There was some runs where he really was just physical and attacking the defense. You can see right here, look at this offensive line. They love this. They want to look. They want to mash. Look at these guys. That's what they've been trying to do. They struggled. They've been much maligned. Oh, man. You want to play defensive line? I don't know if you want to do it when you got those big guys coming after.
And the defensive lines have been the ones doing the work. You look at the passing yards, 83 to 82. Who would have expected Texas Tech 83 passing yards and a half?
Especially when Kansas had struggled when you watch them on tape, leaving guys open. But I also think Coates not being there, he played a role in the passing game. He's been out so far, and that's one weapon that I'm sure Bowman would like to have.
And he's not the only one missing. Keep in mind, Matt Wells not coaching this game. Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator, taking those duties. DJ Elliott, not the defensive coordinator for Kansas today. Jordan Peterson doing that. So we do have the 3 points. You saw the field goal, but we want to show you what happened at the very end of the half. On the made field goal, watch Bryce Cable do left of the line. He's second from left on the line. Number 77 in white. You see the right leg back. He comes down clutching his knee, and he was down on the field for quite a while after the teams had gone back into the locker room. Certainly Kansas has sustained several injuries in that first half, and so we'll see if Cable is able to return in this second, but that did not look good.
And he was one of the folks that Les Miles really talked about being a key component for this offensive line. One of the guys he's starting at the right tackle position. They've been happy. They've got 2 starters on the right side, Adams Reed and Cable Dew, and those guys are both true freshmen. One from Clovis, New Mexico, Cable Dew, and Adams Reed from DeSoto, Texas. So we'll see on that next offensive drive for Kansas who is coming back.
I have an interception and a fumble recovery today. The interception came in the end zone on the first drive of the game by Karan Prunty, the standout true freshman corner for Les Miles. And so Texas Tech has had its opportunities. The question is, can Kansas keep getting some of these breaks? But I think they would argue we've had a lot that's gone against us as well. Several injuries. Kenny Logan got hurt in the first half. Taiwan Berryhill, who was the replacement starting middle linebacker today, had to be carted off. A scary moment in the first half. And so 2 quarters to go as Tabor Allen sends that one beyond the end zone. And so a Texas Tech offense led by Alan Bowman, 9 of 16 passing for the 83 yards, the interception in the first half. You see Xavier White had a very productive half himself.
Yeah, I think you and I both said it too. It seemed like Texas Tech may have played a little bit down, and I think we brought that up in our call. How do you keep guys from, you know, being disappointed you lost Oklahoma State and then coming back playing a team that you know you should beat on paper?
Bowman throws it high, trying to get it to Eric Ezekama with pressure coming from Nick Channel. And Channel is the man who replaced the injured Taiwan Berryhill. He wears 41 in white, and he comes right up the gut.
But I'll say this, what I haven't seen are people running free in that secondary. And usually when you watch Kansas film, you see that a lot in that secondary, even if they're dropping 8.
Taj Brooks, short gain. Again, we mentioned this. DJ Elliott not able to coach today. So Jordan Peterson, the safeties coach, he's the defensive coordinator today. Found out about mid-Tuesday morning that would be the case. DJ Elliott continued to join via Zoom. Peterson was the defensive coordinator at the University of New Mexico last year.
And they're doing a lot with their secondary. Those guys have had Kenny Logan, like you said, being out makes a difference, but they're playing pretty well in the back on the back end.
we have not seen much of Ezekama. Just one catch. Bowman going that way, and he throws it too high on 3rd down, and Kansas makes another stand. How about this Jayhawks defense?
Yeah, boy, they have been much maligned all season, but it seems like, guys, the light bulb has come on. You got pressure coming, not much for Bowman, but you have coverage. Look at that right there. Deuce Mayberry right in the hip pocket of Easy. Got to stay on Easy if you want to make it easy on your defense.
First punt of the day for Texas Tech as McNamara sends Lassiter back to the 19-yard line. I would not have, if you had told me that Austin McNamara doesn't punt until the second half, I would not have told you the score was 10-3.
I was thinking the same thing. I would have thought 20-3, you know, whatever it is. But now let's see who the, looks like Nick Williams may be the new offensive lineman for Bryce Cable, number 70.
Miles Kendrick got the start today in place of the freshman Jalen Daniels. There is number 70 Nick Williams, the sophomore. They've had to reshuffle this line a little bit over the course of this season. Really a lot of it, not a little bit, as Highshaw gets a couple of yards.
You lose the offensive line, basically he's fired, then you replace him, and your offensive line hadn't played well, and your head coach is a former offensive lineman and an offensive line coach. He wasn't happy with what was happening there, and you can see now, I see a difference in a group that has been taking a lot of heat on the season. But remember, the offensive coordinator said a few of those sacks were not on the O-line. It was on the quarterback, and maybe that's why Jalen Daniels didn't start.
Kendrick pulls it, trouble, and gets back to the line of scrimmage to avoid a sack. Texas Tech does have 3 sacks in this game defensively against the offense that allows the most in the nation. But like you said, Brent Dearman did point out he thought they were all against the quarterbacks or on the quarterbacks last week. 3 for 10 on 3rd down, and you look at the average to go, 8.
Well, and we've seen Miles Kendrick in some of these situations where he's held the ball way too long and it counts as a sack, but it should count against the quarterback for not getting rid of the football.
Here comes pressure, and they get to him. Flag down. Schooler with the sack.
Yeah, well, that time it was just no time. That offensive line was just bum rushed by this defensive line and defensive front of Texas Tech.
Holding. Offense, number 61. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Sometimes when you start counting numbers, it seems like there's more people. Look at all these people that are coming at you. They do it on the inside, and Schooler kind of hides almost in a stacked position where you can't find him. And Malik Clark is just holding on for dear life. That was a great call by the Texas Tech defensive coaches of dialing it up.
You saw the number there for the tackles.
Yes.
Second active tackles career for Schooler. He's also in a race for TFL active leaders all time. He now has 50.5 tackles for loss. Contact, flag in. Kick catch interference is going to be the call there. Wabuka didn't have a chance to catch it as Ryan Mulbro was charging down on the returner.
Yeah, he's coming down, fighting the gun. You know, he's gunning. They call them gunners. You're trying to run down there and get to the ball and the punt returner, and you're looking at the ball, you lose sight.
Wabuka has a 41-yard return in this game already. He is dangerous.
Yes, he is.
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, number 39. 15-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. 1st down. Timeout.
And so Texas Tech will begin in Kansas territory when we return. Coming up next weekend, start Saturday strong as one of America's greatest rivalries heads to Big Noon Saturday. Justin Fields, number 4, Ohio State battle Michigan. It all starts with a big noon kickoff live from the Shoe. That's going to be special at 10 a.m. Eastern, followed by Big Noon kickoff on Fox, followed by Big Noon Saturday on Fox. First play of this possession, flag down, a couple of flags down. After the penalty on the punt. Great starting field position for Texas Tech, but we'll see if this moves them back out of it. Xavier White was the ball carrier.
During the run, holding, offense, number 18, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
It's on Miles Price, who had the big touchdown earlier today. The only touchdown today.
Yeah, he was in that area trying to spring his guy.
White remains in the backfield. Here they'll get it to Polk. I said Price had the touchdown. Polk had the touchdown. No, Price had the touchdown. See, these this is the problem when you've got this many playmakers. They've got some good ones.
They do. And they all are similar in build and stature.
Straight ahead for White through a hole. And he's going to get down to the 2-yard line, maybe the 3. He almost got there. A run of 40 yards. A flag is down. Prunty was trying to punch that ball out.
Yeah, he was close to getting it out, but I like the vision of Xavier White. When he gets an open field, he's got enough speed to just shift and get to where he's going. Has a long of 70, and Thompson has a long of 75 this year.
White, who has carried the ball over 50 times this year, one of the leaders in the league in terms of receptions by running backs. He's just a sophomore. Of course, Thompson's a sophomore. Price is a true freshman. Brooks is a true freshman. As a Kama's a redshirt sophomore.
Unsportsmanlike. Taunting. Offense number 15.
Oh, wow.
15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
So if he had scored a touchdown, this penalty would have wiped out the touchdown. Now, he didn't score a touchdown, but does he start waving back at a defender?
I think he does.
Oh, pardon me.
It's 14.
No, they meant 14. And on the wave,
yeah, he almost
got Don Beebe.
Yeah, the ball almost got knocked out. And I think when the coaches came, when he went to the side, they would tell him, hey, get in the end zone.
He did not realize the other guy was there.
Prunty with the hustle play, and that's the thing they talk about, having a high football IQ. Prunty knew he couldn't stop him, but he's trying to get the ball out.
Could you imagine if he had lost that football?
Well, this has been kind of the day for this Texas Tech offense. Kansas is playing some good football. That was a huge run they gave up, though.
Oh, bouncing it back again is Brooks. He really runs hard. But again, just to go back to that play, if he scores the touchdown, if the second defender isn't there,
it's wiped out.
The touchdown would be wiped out. It's 15 yards from the spot of that taunting.
Nate Betts, the initial hit, and Brooks just runs through it.
This Kansas defense, I mean, does this look like the defense that's last in the country in points allowed? They give up 50 a game.
I say this, they're fighting today. Sometimes you watch the tape, it doesn't look quite this clean, but today they are really just flying around the ball with some guys that are out that they anticipated to be able to help them today.
Plenty of time on the play clock for Bowman. He moves the tight end Holcomb and now gives it to Brooks. And Brooks, churning his legs, gets the first down. Taj Brooks, who really has gotten a larger opportunity because of injuries to Thompson and White, and he's earned more opportunity, the true freshman from Texas.
Out of Maynard, Texas, right outside of Austin, just running the ball hard.
He puts a shoulder down again. That time Marcus Harris, who's going to take a moment to catch his breath, wrapped him up.
Yeah, Marcus Harris took a shot not only from Taj Brooks, but also Gavin Potter. He took the brunt of that.
Hopefully it's more than just, or hopefully it's not more than just catching his breath. He has been so good for them. It's another one of these freshmen on this team whose production has really gone up. And talking to the acting defensive coordinator, Jordan Peterson, 50 and White is who we're looking at. Well, his confidence has really grown lately because of his production.
And the one thing about that play, he fights off the block and then gets to the tackle. And everybody kind of rolls him up. And that's usually when you may have some kind of injury. But to your point, 7.5 tackles for loss coming into today's ball game. He has just been all over the field making plays for this defense that has struggled. But they needed that presence up front.
And this has been a familiar sight, unfortunately, today for Kansas. Winless team, still with a game to play. Keep in mind, they will play Texas at home next week, a game that had been postponed and now rescheduled. This is the regular season finale for Texas Tech. Elijah Jones, Kenny Logan, Jeremy Robinson, Kyron Johnson, who left and returned, now Harris, and of course the scary injury to Berryhill, who had to be carted off the field on a stretcher, plus the Bryce Cabledew injury, the left tackle injury just before the end of the first half. On the last play of the first half, fighting hard, that is Kyron Johnson, who was injured and returned, holding on for dear life to Xavier White.
Yeah, this is where it's going to get interesting as they get closer and closer to this goal line. 3rd and 6. We'll see what Texas Tech dials up.
Oh, you could hear everything.
Yeah. Took them a long time to make the adjustment to switch those two to go by 2 by 2 now.
Play clock at 3. Bowman to White. And he flips through, and he'll be a couple yards shy of the first down. And they're going to hurry up and go for it. Remember, this is a Texas Tech team that went for it on 4th down early last week against Oklahoma State inside their own 30.
Bringing in Brooks for the short yardage situation.
Kansas needs a timeout, and a heads-up play there from the linebacker, cornerback Kyle Mayberry, the senior from Tulsa, who noticed that somebody was trying to get onto the field from the sideline and then bailed, and he called the timeout.
And you had time because there was a substitution by Texas Tech, and the officials were allowing them to come in, and it looked like, you know, Coach Peterson was like, no, I need you to go in, and whoever that was on the sideline didn't quite understand. But you're right. Kyle Mayberry says, look, we need a timeout. This is too important. It's a heads-up play.
And on a team with a record number of freshmen in FBS football this year, it's a senior who saves them for the moment on just the 2nd red zone attempt for Texas Tech so far today. You look at the defensive numbers. Both these teams in Power 5 football allow the most points. It's not been the case today. And what a stand this would be for Kansas. Bowman is going to give it off, and Taj Brooks got it. Just fighting off with Gavin Potter, who couldn't make the stop.
Yeah, he barely picked that up. And now that they get this first down, they lose the offensive lineman, so they have to slow it down. Helmet comes off.
Caleb Rogers comes running on. And he's been splitting time with Ethan Card at left tackle anyway, so not a big drop off there for Texas Tech, as Akama is lined up by himself at the top. One-on-one with Deuce Mayberry, Kyle Mayberry's younger brother. As Akama's clapping at the quarterback, Bowman. Bowman looks the other way, lofts it, and Paul can't bring it in. Going right at Karan Prunty, and the true freshman who leads all freshmen in the nation in pass breakups adds another.
This kid's got a good knack for knowing when to go for the football and put that hand in there. He waits till the receiver brings his hands up and then knocks the ball out.
Jordan Peterson calls him Mr. Business.
He says he's kind of quiet. He just goes about his business. I said the guys that play with him either said he's just mechanical and methodical in how he approaches the game. Brooks
this time gets hit immediately and then slammed down. Potter, who had just lost the battle on the 4th down carry, wins that one.
That was great team defense. This is what you got to have. Potter first, and then 4 or 5 guys around. Look at the Potter with the great move getting under there, and then look at all those guys. Betts just rallying to the football to make a play.
3rd down.
It's good defense.
Plenty of time on the play clock. Reverse. This is Price. Cuts it back in, and he gets stopped. 4th down coming up. First man there was Deuce Mayberry.
Yeah, they saw it before.
You can
this
hear
time, yeah, look, they said, no, get out here. And that's what you do. That is a great play and a smart heads-up play right there, making sure you don't have a chance to get around the edge.
You could hear one of our microphones picked up somebody yelling reverse from the Kansas defense before the snap.
It took them too long to get the play in, too, and allowed Kansas to see everything play out in front of them.
So now here is Jonathan Garibay, who's missed his last 2 field goal attempts. And this time right down the middle. So he's 2 for 2 for the day. A defensive stand at the goal line near it for Kansas. 10-point game. Let's go back to the Baylor game. Colin Schooler, the grad transfer from Arizona, a touchdown saving tackle on Charlie Brewer. They would come back and win that game after holding Baylor to a field goal on that possession. So it was a game-winning tackle, and he has been a game-winning tackler his whole career, one of the best in all of college football throughout his time in the sport.
I'm telling you, he reminded me of Scooby Wright, who we had with the Arizona Hotshots. Very similar makeup and how they fly around the ball. Not probably the best athletes, but always around the football.
Scooby Wright, a former Arizona Wildcat, much like Schooler, a former Arizona Wildcat. Schooler told us he's only been on campus for 3 months. It's been really hard because you don't get to you don't go to meals at the coach's house, right? You don't get to hang out at social events with your teammates. And he gave a lot of credit to Rico Jeffers, who is not able to go today for Texas Tech, injured last week, as a guy that really helped him come along, helped teach him. And one thing that Keith Patterson told us was that relationship born from a mutual respect that Rico had for a newcomer like Colin Schooler.
And that linebacking crew, you get to know guys, and if they can play, you take them in the fold pretty quick.
Has to feel like a win for Kansas defensively, holding Texas Tech to a field goal. But the question is, can they get anything out of it? There's Highshaw, who goes sprinting right into his own man, Mason Fairchild, but still a solid pickup.
Highshaw ran over Fairchild, and Fairchild is 6'5", 250. He just said, hey,
and on his team.
Yeah, he's on his team. He was blocking for him. But watch this. Watch 20 look up. I mean, he just running. And he's kept his feet moving and kept basically the sideline got him out of bounds. I mean, that was who tackled him, the sideline.
Got DeMarcus Fields off that block. Highshaw has been the workhorse today for Kansas. Morgan Stern wraps him up, but he's still working. He's still fighting and churning, and he just won't go down.
And Cable Dew is back. That's a good thing for them. 77, they're pulling Highshaw. Highshaw runs with some viciousness. He runs with bad intentions, man. He runs with some bad intentions.
Great to see Cable Dew back.
Yeah.
After the injury on the field goal at the end of the first half that had him down on the field for an extended period of time.
Well, that shows you something. When you got a game like this where you're 0-8 and you're not, it's cold and you're not winning, and guys want to come back, and he's trying to play. I like that.
Well, Les Miles has been relentlessly positive this year with his team. There is Grimm just shy of the stick. I don't think the ball got there. Dadrian Taylor Demerson, who did not play defense until he got to college, the sophomore from Oklahoma City, might have prevented the first down. He did. It's 4th and inches, and they're lining up to go for it at their own 34.5-yard line. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down.
Yeah, they struggled on 4th down all year long, and I've said, get under center. Smart.
Kendrick pushing forward, and he's got it.
See, don't listen to me, but just do it. It makes sense right there because you have that big offensive line, and you may not look like you're going to get it, but they'll pull you. Watching the interior. Look at the interior of this line. You got almost 400 pounds of guys, not 400 pounds, 2 tons of guys just pushing forward. That's what you do on a short yardage situation.
And a good push there from Daniel Highshaw at the end. So first down on the conversion for Kansas. Highshaw tries to bounce it, and a flag comes down. He couldn't get away from Eric Monroe, the grad transfer from LSU.
Highshaw almost looked like he didn't get the ball clean.
I think you're right.
Initially, he was struggling to get that handoff.
Defense, number 11, 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play.
See, look,
automatic first down.
At the beginning, you see how he had to kind of, they were lucky that he was able to keep the ball. Initially, he was struggling from that handoff, and he was able to get it. And then when he gets going, Monroe reaches out and pulls that face mask.
Kansas has benefited from 75 yards of penalties up against 85 yards passing.
But they haven't done anything to finish it. They've only gotten that field goal, and let's see if they're able to do anything this drive.
Pesic Hickson, who had the 100-yard game last week, back into the game, and he'll take the dump off. No, it's deflected and incomplete. Almost caught by the fullback, Ben Miles. Who got that ball? Was it Morgenstern? Let's see.
Morgenstern,
41.
Gets that hand up. Yeah, just hits his arm. And actually, he hits it and it hits his arm. And Jalen Hutchins may have got a paw on it as well.
So now second down. Kansas is 12 of 19 passing, but again, only for 85 yards. We'll hand it off again. Highshaw. Every run involves just a crowd.
Oh, it does.
Of just about everybody that's on the field.
But what it's done, though, it's also forced Texas Tech to respect the run game, even when they're showing RPO or zone read game, because you got to respect that Miles Kendrick can get outside, and you can't just come with those dog blitzes every time. You have to honor it because they run the football pretty effectively.
As the clock ticks under 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Play clock winding down. Kendrick complete to Grimm. He is shy of the first down by about 2 yards. It'll bring up fourth down and 2.
That's all you can really do. The zone is vacated because of blitz pressure, and right behind that, Kendrick finds Luke Grimm. They're going to bring pressure there, and where that pressure comes from, that's where you throw it. The window opens up so much more for the quarterback, and he knows the count is all good. Everybody's protected, but if that blitz pressure comes there, that's where I'm going to throw it. Now, what it does, it doesn't allow you to pick up the first down, and now it's going to be interesting to see what they dial up here.
They bring Mason Fairchild into the backfield, the tight end. Already one fourth down conversion on this drive. Highshaw again, trying to bounce it, nowhere to go. Ball came out after he was down, whistled down, and Texas Tech gets the stand. That one's returned all the way by Eric Monroe.
Yeah, they went to the well too many times. Too many times on that one.
Texas Tech takes over on downs here in Lubbock. Les Miles said this week about Karan Prunty, I think he's going to be a great one. And he already has been one of the best freshman corners, one of the best corners in the Big 12 period, and he's been a playmaker today.
Yeah, just a good heads-up player right here. This shows your football IQ. Xavier White starting to celebrate. Prunty going for the football. Prunty also here. This is heads up. Just get the ball out. And they say he just doesn't. It doesn't stick in his mental. He gets rid of any negative or positive play and just goes on to the next one.
Texas Tech taking over after the fourth down stop. The interception in the end zone, that was on the first Texas Tech drive. It's his first interception of his career. And they'll go back on the ground to White. Ball is out again, and it's picked up by Kansas. Nate Betts racing the other way with it, and he's pulled down at about the 15-yard line. The third takeaway for the Jayhawks today. Nate Betts is having one heck of a game.
Man, he is all over the field. He is just flying to the football, making plays from the hawk position. And again, forcing turnover. Look at that. Look at the young player, Prunty. Marcus Harris is there too, but Prunty is the one that knocks it out. We talk about high football IQ and ability to make plays. I don't think he looks at the scoreboard much. He just says, look, I'm going to make a play, and I don't care what the score says.
Jordan Peterson said he calls Prunty Mr. Business. He has given him the business. What a game for the freshman from Portsmouth, VA. And so the Kansas offense back onto the field on the 16-yard line.
For Les to go into the Tidewater area and get him away from Virginia and Virginia Tech, that's a big thing for Kansas.
Both those schools came in late trying to recruit him. He stayed loyal to Kansas. And here's Golightly, well defended that time by DeMarcus Fields. That's the go-to corner on the other side of things. Golightly wanted the penalty, not getting it.
Yeah, they come with pressure again, and Golightly's in a man situation.
Fields was the man matched up stride for stride with Tylan Wallace all last week.
Yeah, DeMarcus Fields is right there. Really good job of playing that football.
Pesic Hickson stands beside Miles Kendrick. Kendrick's been the quarterback all day today for Kansas. Got the start. Pesic Hickson puts a hand out to at least get close to getting back to the line of scrimmage. Jalen Hutchings.
This defensive line has done a much better job in the last few runs of penetrating and getting into those gaps and not letting Highshaw or Pesic Hickson, get anything going.
3rd and 10.
That's a huge opportunity for Kansas. Great field position. You got to do something with this one.
Looking for Lassiter, got it over the middle, on his feet and gets swung down. Ball came out. He is ruled down. McPherson clearly came up with it, and now it's 4th down.
Keith Patterson and that defensive staff are forcing them to throw quick. Yeah, he's down on the ground. Ball comes out as he hits the ground late.
And so here comes the field goal team to try and make it a one-score game. Jacob Borchilla hit from 42 yards at the end of the first half. 1 for 1 today. This one is from 29 yards away, out of the hold of Luke Hosford. And Les Miles is going to take a timeout. So Kansas takes the timeout. Texas Tech is a dangerous team. They've blocked 2 field goals already this year. So they'll take a moment here with 32 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Tonight, it's the fight event of the fall as the undefeated Errol Spence Jr. takes on Danny Garcia for the World Welterweight Championship, available on pay-per-view or buy the fight on foxsports.com/PPV and watch on any screen you want.
It's going to be a good fight there. Those two guys.
You're a boxing man?
I like boxing a little bit. I know those two are some pretty proficient guys that can make some things happen.
We haven't really seen too many knockout punches here today.
No.
Just trying to extend the fight here.
Well, and I think anytime you can score and give yourself that chance, it's a smart thing to make sure, because this Texas Tech defense, you're right, or their block kick unit is really, really good.
Borchilla lines up again, 29 yards. It's away, and winless Kansas is right in this thing. A one-score game here in Lubbock. Les Miles' team looking for its first win in Lubbock since 2001. They forced 3 turnovers today. The interception it did result in a punt, but remember, it was in the end zone, so it prevented a touchdown. They just got the field goal. Jordan Peterson, the acting defensive coordinator today, in place of DJ Elliott, who's unable to coach this game for Texas Tech. Keith Patterson is the acting head coach. Matt Wells unable to coach this game.
See some fight out of this defense. That's the one thing, and some guys on the back end really doing a nice job of stepping up and making plays.
And the Texas Tech offense will start at the 25. And Karan Prunty's been all over the place on defense for Kansas. And now Alan Bowman tries to get something going here before the fourth quarter begins. Texas Tech, after last week throwing for 384 yards against Oklahoma State, they've only thrown for 86 yards. In fact, Texas Tech is being out-passed, if you will, by Kansas today.
And they've done a good job of taking Eric Izukama out of the mix today.
Izukama lined up at the top. Bowman instead will swing it out to the running back, Xavier White. And White will stay inbounds and get a couple extra yards. White's nickname might need to be a couple extra yards, because every time he gets hit, he gets a couple extra yards.
He does. He's shifty and tough to bring down.
Bowman. Here's White. That time he gets stopped in his tracks, and he's very close to the first down marker right there for the tackle, Stephen Parker. And he's shy by a yard.
And you mentioned it, him catching his ability out of the backfield is what really makes him special.
Just got the snap off, and they cannot surprise Kansas. They get the stop, so we're going to have a fourth down coming up here to start the fourth quarter. Put four fingers in the air. The officials are going to spot this ball, and it's going to be it's going to be shy.
It is. That was a really nice stop. We talked about this defense coming up with ways to make plays.
Dan Hawkins once said, "This is the Big 12. Looking at the scoreboard, you wouldn't know it, but we got a one-score game here in Lubbock." It's 13-6 to start the fourth quarter, and on fourth down and less than a yard, Texas Tech lining up to punt. Austin McNamara has only punted once today. Kwame Lassiter back deep. This one a bit of a line drive. Lassiter waves everyone off, and that's going to take a good Texas Tech roll.
Win to your back, smart move right there, I think.
All right, does Les Miles have a run in him? Team down 7. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Text PLAY to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game. After the punt of 56 yards by Austin McNamara, Kansas takes over at its own 11-yard line, down by 7, and they begin with a run to Daniel Highshaw.
And I think Texas Tech now, that's smarter than the punt because of two things. Their defense has played really well. Kansas has struggled to get anything going offensively outside of the run game. And Texas Tech, their defensive front have just said, look, we know you're going to run. We're going to get after you.
These two teams have combined to run the ball 10 more times than they've combined to throw the ball today. Keith Patterson, the defensive coordinator, today also the head coach after Matt Wells tested positive for COVID-19 on Thursday. Highshaw motions out of the backfield. Miles Kendrick this time over the middle looking for Grimm, who's asking the official for a flag. He was covered by Colin Schooler.
Miles Kendrick, look at his footwork. Whenever he's going, he's still going back, and that sometimes gets him off kilter.
Is Grimm right on the left side? I think he is right.
And Schooler pulls him out, has that arm bar on the backside, and he pulls his hands off. It's an old school move by a linebacker. Linebackers always holding, man. What are you talking about? As a tight end.
Just the tight end, yeah.
I love playing against those guys, but they will hold you to infinity and beyond and act like they didn't do anything.
Third down. This is Highshaw. And it's just too much ground to cover for this Kansas offense that's now 3 of 15 on third down attempts this year.
They've made them one-dimensional where they know you're going to run the football in some form or fashion between the tackles. And when you do, we'll have guys there. And then when you try to throw it, we'll make it uncomfortable for Miles Kendrick, who's undersized at 5'10", hands in his face, and he's not been able to have any clean pockets to throw to. And the receivers have to get off of things like that as well.
Reese Vernon to send it away. And this one hangs up for Wabuka. No return for the dangerous return man. In the fourth quarter here in Lubbock, Texas Tech up by 7. Only 13 points for Texas Tech, but a long way to go still for what has been one of the best fourth quarter scoring offenses in Power 5 football this year. Alan Bowman, 12 of 22 for 95 yards passing.
They've run the football effectively, but they have really struggled to pass, and part of it is Kansas. Kansas's defense, especially the secondary.
Flags fly, and this is going to move Texas Tech back. A false start. Now, to your point.
Start. Offense. Number 76, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Gavin Potter did a nice job of calling that out, too. He made sure, I'm letting you know, 76, that you jumped off sides, or you were early.
Caleb Rogers. But to your point on the run game, Texas Tech has run for 240 today. A pitch here to Xavier White. And he turns the corner. He got a big block, and he gets a first down. Flags are down, and the ball came out. Kansas has it. Marcus Harris with the tackle, and it was picked up by Sam Burt. No, make that Caleb Taylor who picked it up. Wow.
That was a lot in that play.
We do have a flag to check on, but let's make sure the ball's out here first.
Oh, yeah, the ball is coming out before his knee hits.
That's the redshirt freshman defensive end, Marcus Harris.
Holding offense, number 86. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is a fumble recovered by Kansas. First down.
Unbelievable. Wow. Another turnover for Texas Tech. The third lost fumble of the game. Fourth turnover for the Red Raiders.
They had been talking about that too, Guy, the Kansas team. And any article you read or when we talked to them, getting more turnovers, making sure they attack the football and made tackles. And I think they put themselves in position. And let's face it, Texas Tech hasn't done themselves favors by turning the football over, by just not playing clean. And that's allowing Kansas to stay in this ball game.
And they take over with great field position. Kendrick looking to the sideline. He's got Amari Pesic-Hickson in the backfield with him. And it's Pesic-Hickson who gets a yard or so. They gave Pesic-Hickson some tough love earlier this year. Brent Dearman said that growing up in Omaha, Pesic-Hickson thought he was a basketball player, only played 2 years of football, and early on he ran like a basketball player. He said, we sent him down to the scout team, and you take hits when you run with the scout team, and he came back, and it worked. He was fantastic last week, 100 yards, and has carried a load with Highshaw here today. Pressure coming. Kendrick trying to get away from it, eventually gets out of the pocket and throws it away. Tony Bradford Jr. was bearing down.
And I don't like the route design on that play. There's 3 guys running. QB is working here, and he has nowhere to go. Kendrick has nowhere to go with the football because the mesh point is off right there. There's one deep receiver. You really don't have anywhere you can throw the football. To me, it's not a good play design, and it's not something for a guy that's already struggling to throw the football to give him any success. Just a bad play call, in my opinion.
Now it's 3rd and 8. Steps away from pressure. decides early to pull it down. He's got a first down. Down inside the 25-yard line. A quick decision to run, that time from Kendrick.
And Miles Kendrick can do that. When he gets in open space, he will run the football effectively. His long on the year was 9 yards. That right there was a good decision. Look, you have everything locked up and they're in man coverage, and you see that as a quarterback, right? And great block by Pesek Hickson. When quarterbacks see everybody running away, they know it's man, and they're hugged up like Velcro on somebody. He sees that he can take off and go pick up some yardage.
Meanwhile, Thomas Leggett, the senior, is down for Texas Tech.
Yeah, sometimes you tell people, hey, you don't need to run it that quick. But in that particular instance, right away, Miles Kendrick saw that, and his receivers that had man coverage automatically turned and picked up a block. That was a huge play for them because they had been struggling to get any kind of positive yards.
Let's take a look at this replay, see if we can see what happened to Leggett. He wears 16 in red. Take a look at his right knee. Yep. Perhaps that's where Tyree Wilson fell into him. It's good to see Leggett get up and with some assistance walk off.
Yeah, both of those guys hustling to the play, and that's what you tell your defenders to do. Run to the football. Sometimes you got bodies flying around and you just get hit in the wrong position. But that one bad play before, where I would blame the coaching staff for running that or the receivers not running it right, to this next play where you get something going with the guy that has the legs and the ability to run the football when he has trouble.
The 20-yard play was the longest of the game for Kansas.
And now Kansas starting to think, hey, look, we can do this. As poorly as we've played on offense at stretches of time, we now have a chance to get in the end zone.
Pesek Hickson. Oh, he's got Red Raiders all over him. He just tries to cut his losses, and in the end, it's still a loss of 4. That was doomed from the start.
Boundary play, starting on the boundary hash and trying to work to the field when you've got a team that can run as fast as Texas Tech can, and you called it. It was a wave of red jerseys that he was met with. He was lucky to only lose 4 yards.
Now brings up a 2nd and 14. And this has been the situation. These long down situations have been hard at Kansas to catch up from. Kendrick pointing, gets away from Schooler, leaps down the sideline, very close. Did he step out? He's right at the stick. That should be a first down. Let's see. Yep, indeed it is a first down.
Kendrick is getting his groove, understanding, hey, if guys aren't going to get open, I got to make a play. And this is just old school. Get off of me, Schooler. I'm going to hurdle you. Schooler, you going to still try to come and get some? Well, I'm going to get this first down and take you with me.
People do not get away from Collins.
No, and that was, I think part of it is he's understanding, hey, if my receivers don't get open, I have to do everything I can to make a play to get us into the end zone.
First down. Kendrick throws it, and Lassiter can't bring it in right at the pylon. A tough catch, but it hit him in the hands.
That's about the 5th time they've had a route where, and they finally had a receiver that he could throw to. Everybody's covered. Lassiter does a nice job on this comeback out. And at the front pylon, that's a good throw by Kendrick. Just that was a really nice throw by him on point to that front pylon where he knows he's going to break out and leave the defender where he did.
Ben Miles, the fullback, has come into the game. Highshaw running behind him, finds a hole, steps through, and he's in! The first touchdown of the day for Kansas, and they're within 1.
They worked so hard for it. Texas Tech gave them many opportunities. They created some of those opportunities, but when you needed it most, watch this line come off the ball. Look at all those blocks right there. White jerseys wrapped up on the red. Highshaw gets it in. Now, if you're Texas Tech, if you played down so far, you better start figuring out a way to get yourself going, because this Kansas ball club looks like they want to win a game.
They're going to go for the point after to try and tie the game. Chilla, who's hit a couple of field goals today. We've got a tie game in Lubbock.
When we come back, we'll talk about what we said in the break last time.
Wow. Miles Kendrick, the quarterback, fired up for Kansas after leading a touchdown drive, converting on the fumble, the 4th turnover of the game for Texas Tech, and Daniel Highshaw ran in his 2nd career touchdown, the true freshman from Moore, Oklahoma. The first touchdown of the day. Kansas just keeps swinging that pick. And now Texas Tech in a position that Keith Patterson certainly hoped they would not be. They have not been without opportunity today. There's no question about that. Tabor Allen is going to kick this away for Kansas. A tie football game in the 4th quarter here in Lubbock. Shadarius Townsend is going to bring this out for Texas Tech. And he goes down. A good return out to about the 30-yard line. Where do you think this game changed?
Well, I think it changed when they didn't get in the end zone and they had to kick that field goal. And they were going methodically. I thought Texas Tech taking way too long. They were able to come away with points. But it just, to me, they look like they slowed themselves down. And sometimes when you do that, you don't go for the jugular. And to me, that was an opportune time. As Akama didn't get any looks that drive, and I just think it changed. And I told you at the break then, it's going to change the game if Kansas comes back.
Look out, Taj Brooks through the middle of the offensive line, across midfield, and a big run and an answer for Texas Tech here in crunch time.
Well, they got guys pulling, blocking people up, moving, and they're going quick now. They're not taking the time. But Taj Brooks is a short yardage guy that has some speed. He has home run hitting speed if he can get in the open field.
Bowman. Pressure coming. Harris gets there with help. Nick Channel, the sack. The first sack of the game for Kansas.
I'll tell you what, there was nowhere for him to throw. Everybody was covered. Bowman had nowhere to go. And that's what you don't always see when you watch Kansas playing. Nick Channel and Marcus Harris getting after him. That secondary did a nice job of just locking up all the receivers and not allowing him to find a comfort level, and that's why he got sacked.
Wow. After the big run from Taj Brooks. They'll give it Brooks. And he'll get about 5 back into Kansas territory.
But I think the heads-up play, to your point, get rid of that football. Don't take that big sack if you can, if you're Bowman.
4 turnovers today, most in 5 years for Texas Tech. And Kansas has converted those 4 turnovers to 10 points. Which matches as many points off turnovers as they had all year coming into the game. Charles.
I'll say this. Ezekama looks like he's getting a little bit frustrated with not getting the football.
He's at the bottom. They get it to him here on the same page, and he's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. And they're just trying to find a way, David Yost.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but he was going to the sideline like, look, throw me the ball. I mean, he was just basically telling him, I'll do something with it, and he does. Those offensive linemen get in front of him. You can see Josh Berger blocking, but he was frustrated.
Entered play today, 2 catches behind Tylan Wallace for the Big 12 lead in receptions. He has just 2 in this game. That was the second. This is 4th down and 6. In a tie game, Texas Tech going for it. They need the 32. Bowman. Harris chasing. Bowman pulls it down. It's a race, him and Potter, and he gets to the stick. I think he got it.
They took Ezekama away. They basically played cornerback, and then you have Kyron Johnson coming underneath to bracket him, and he has nowhere to go. Right here in this area, you can see right there, they bracket him, not allowing him to get anything comfortable, and he has to run it. Huge play by Bowman of going to get that first down.
And as you can see, he did get it. A fight for that half yard between he and Gavin Potter. Bowman won that one. And now he'll throw. This time to Price. Setting up the blocks was Jalen Polk. And Price, who already popped the 70-yard touchdown run today, moves the chains.
Look at the blocking by the receivers, though. Easy and look. I mean, they were getting physical out there. I love it when I see a receiver get. Ezekama just took his guy and took him to the sideline. Outstanding.
Well, there was some confusion there. We got a player down. That's Ezekama was pointing. The player.
Caleb Taylor.
Yep, the man who recovered the fumble earlier. The last fumble that was recovered by Kansas. Let's see if we could see here before the snap what happened to Taylor. Right side of the screen. You see him kneeling.
He's already down.
Ezekama actually was the guy. Ezekama was one of the players pointing on the Texas Tech side, saying there's somebody down, there's somebody down.
But the play before, Ezekama had a block. He took his guy off to the bench with him, who he was blocking. And part of that physicality, he hadn't been getting the ball, but he was demonstrative on that screen that they threw to him earlier. And those are the things that they say he will do. He will do the dirty work. And you got to love it. You know, when you come to a school like Texas Tech, you think of some of the receivers they've had, like a Michael Crabtree and others. But he plays with the edge to him that you really like if you're those guys at the next level.
It was such a big game for him last week playing Oklahoma State. Tylan Wallace, both from the Fort Worth area. Wallace a little older. Ezekama grew up watching Wallace. They met after the game for the first time. Ezekama went up to him and said, I think I earned that follow back on Instagram. They went toe to toe, and he did get the follow back on IG. So
that's good stuff.
Successful day. First down for Bowman. End zone. Ezekama and Prunty. This is a great matchup, and they've been matched up several times today, and Prunty's had one heck of an afternoon.
We're going to see this for the next few years, and I don't think it's going to stop there. If these guys keep progressing like they are, I mean, they both have next-level ability.
As Ezekama comes off, Prunty lined up with Fungi at the bottom. The handoff is to Brooks. I mean, would you know that Kansas gives up, I'll say it again, the most points in the nation and has lost several players to injury today on defense?
They have given up the most consecutive games, allowing more 50-plus points, fourth behind a bunch of other teams, but 4 games in a row this year that they've given up 50-plus points. And today they've held Texas Tech to 13.
They've lost every game this year by an average of 34 points a game. But here's a big 3rd and 9 now in the 4th quarter with under 6.5 minutes left of a tie game. Brooks still on his feet. 4th effort. He just keeps pushing. And now it's 4th down in field goal range for Jonathan Garibay, who has missed 2 today.
Can't say enough about this front 7, though, what they've been able to do. Just, you know, you've got guys that are stepping in for others, and you know, a few guys that have been nicked up, but whoever comes in to play, Jordan Peterson has really done a nice job of getting these guys to fire and fly to the football.
So Garibay from 36, he made his first attempt and then missed the next 2. That one was deflected, and it still goes through. Wow. Texas Tech has the lead.
You could hear that ball get tipped, and I couldn't quite see who it was, but man, he was still had enough leg to get that over.
Oh my goodness.
In that kind of a day. I mean, good job inside. I mean,
98. Caleb Sampson.
Yeah.
Wow. Remember, this game ended last year with a dramatic blocked field goal, fumble, second attempt field goal. Field goal was the story last year, and field goals have been the story today.
I think Kansas likes playing Texas Tech.
Well, they do now. It's not been the case historically.
Yeah, in the past it hadn't been, but the last 2 times they've met,
now
had some interesting games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Les is going, I don't understand what everyone else hated so much about Texas Tech, when they won it last year, it snapped a long losing streak. It's now, I think it was 12 games at the time they had lost before winning last year. And Texas Tech is 19-2 all-time against Kansas.
But I think when you figure out you've got some, you know, a way to beat a team, or you beat them, it kind of gets in your head. And Texas Tech has made some critical errors too. I mean, they put the ball on the ground. They just haven't quite played the way that we have seen them play on film, especially the offensive firepower that you expect.
They're coming off a season high of offensive production, 639 yards.
But you said it best,
44 points.
Guy, you said it. I mean, I think they watched film this week, and they, even though they weren't doing everything they could to really prepare for this Kansas team. They talked about it. They said, oh, we know Kansas is going to play like it's a Super Bowl. But what you're seeing is the byproduct of them just cutting a few corners, maybe 30 extra minutes that they normally would watch film that they didn't. And just some of the changes that they've had as a staff. Kansas has had it as well, but Kansas has been in a situation where they've struggled this year, where Texas Tech has had some success, and they played down. Now they're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get out of this hole to beat a team who was just, you know, backed against the corner and fighting like all get out.
And now they're going to have to score.
Yeah.
They're going to have to score again. And that getting all the way down the field, running the full length of the field has been the challenge. But they've created the turnovers and have about half the field to work with. That's where we've seen Kansas be able to break across. Tonight, it's the fight event of the fall as undefeated Errol Spence Jr. takes on Danny Garcia for the World Welterweight Championship, available on pay-per-view, or you can buy the fight on foxsports.com/PPU and watch on any screen you want.
Grew up watching welterweights, whether it was Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. These guys, I think there'll be some firepower tonight.
5:36 left here. Kansas, its first touchdown on the last possession. The man that scored it, Daniel Highshaw, picks up about 4 or 5 yards. We saw the quarterback, Miles Kendrick, all fired up on the sideline after that last possession. He got the start today. Not Jalen Daniels, the true freshman who had been the starter. Remember, Kendrick came in the first half, at the end of the first half last week against TCU, led a touchdown drive. And this has been his game today.
Kendrick has shown a good account of himself. He was struggling some, and he just started taking it upon himself. But you said it best. This offense hadn't shown a proclivity to get a long drive established. They're going to have to do some things in the pass game. And I venture to say we'd see Luke Grimm at some point.
Grimm just came onto the field. He wears 80 in white. He's going to be lined up the closest to the formation at the bottom of the screen. He's in the slot. Highshaw is the running back. 3rd and 5. Highshaw takes. Big hole for him. Steps through, still on his feet, and he's going to come up a yard shy.
I was with you, Guy. Initially, I thought it was going to be an easy first down. Watch how this hole opens up. Combo block right there by the guard center. And I just thought, oh, and good tackle right there.
Kosai Eldridge, who's part of the group trying to fill the loss of Rico Jeffers today.
He did a nice job of coming downhill and not letting Highshaw gain those extra yards that he's been doing most of the day.
Here we go, 4th and 1 at their own 34. They've struggled in this spot. Highshaw can't get there. Stopped again. Eric Monroe, the first to hit.
And that was a huge play by Monroe. 11 just comes in there and fires in. Look, off the edge. He sees it, expose it. Get to it. Nice play by Monroe. Now, give yourself an option maybe of throwing the football as well, but Eric Monroe said, no, if you're going to run that ball, I'm going to show you how we stop it here.
That's your guy, H-Town.
Yeah.
Transfer from LSU, third on the team in tackles this year.
He got a few of them. That was a really nice play by him.
It's the third time that Texas Tech has taken over on downs today. Back to Brooks. And he gets a couple more after he got hit first in the backfield by Cal Mayberry.
Call a timeout for Kansas.
That's their last one.
Yeah, slow this clock down. You know, sometimes you got to win.
Left for Les Miles now, pardon me.
Sorry about that. Sometimes you got to win dirty, and we may have a Texas Tech team figuring out a way to do that.
If they could hold on, it would be 3 conference home wins for the first time since 2009. And that was important. Talking to Matt Wells this week, and again Keith Patterson, the acting head coach, but he really thought it was important to break through. Not just the bowl conversation is a bigger picture that's probably out of reach, but having the home winning record was a big deal to him. Fox Bet Super 6 has given away over $3 million, and now you can win cash prizes playing the Fox Bet Super 6 PBC boxing contest tonight during the pay-per-view event. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app for free and order the big fight on foxsports.com/PPV.
You know, the one thing that I see too is that they didn't want to talk about bowl game, and I get it, but I also see too that, you know, they figured Kansas is going to come in and play hard. They don't have anything to lose, and they have one other game on the schedule, but every opportunity for them to come out and play is there. So I think they're, you know, and their recruitment too of what he was talking about, getting really good in West Texas and also extending to other parts of the state to get those guys to come and play here at Texas Tech.
Brooks, one-armed by Caleb Sampson. In all likelihood, Texas Tech would need Oklahoma and Oklahoma State to make a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah.
In order to make it into a bowl this year. And I think that, you know, that's obviously assuming that they're able to win this game. That's part of the math there. Third down. Kansas needs to stop. Bowman taking every second of this clock that he can. He's going to throw. Dumps it off to Brooks, who's played so well today, and this will bring up 4th down. Now you are in field goal range, and so here comes Garibay.
You knew this, if it was going to be a pass, it was going to be basically a long handoff. But again, Nick Channel, who was kind of stepped in because of some of the injuries, has really played well, always around the football.
Garibay had the last ball deflected, but it still went through. This is from 45 yards. Missed 2 today. And now he's missed 3. And Kansas is going to take over with 1:58 left in a 3-point game.
It's in his head now. I mean, it's just one of those situations like my golf game. Once I start shanking, I just keep shanking. And he, you know, he's come up, he's playing it in his head, but you can just tell, body language just tells you he's trying his best.
He took over before the Baylor game for Trey Wolf, who had so much success last year, but Wolf had started the year 1 of 5. And now 3 misses today for Garibay. No timeouts. And Kansas has got 73 yards of field in front of it. Highshaw motions out. Kendrick will throw back to Grimm, who comes back to the football, but can't get out of bounds. Clock keeps moving.
They have to go fast. Is
Grimm down over there on the field? He is. He tried to scoot off the field. Tristan Golightly was the one that had hurried that ball to the official. Credit Golightly, the true freshman, trying to race that ball to get it spotted.
Yeah, because he knew we don't have timeouts. We got to move fast. And the other thing you worry about in this instance with injury is 10-second runoff. He doesn't get quite out of bounds.
Good to see Grimm walk off. And the good news for Kansas being that we're not under a minute, and so the 10-second runoff does not come into play yet. Second down at 7. Kendrick throws to the sideline, and it's caught. First catch of the game for T.K. Williams, and he did get out.
We thought we'd see a little bit more T.K. Williams and call his name a little bit. He was mentioned on our call. Great catch, get out of bounds. Nice job. Stop the clock. Remember, when you get first downs in college, the clock will stop until the chains are set. So you have a kind of a built-in timeouts there, but you still have to move quickly.
Four-man rush over the middle. This is Lassiter spinning, pulling away. In the end, he gets about a yard with the forward progress.
A lot of movement for a lot of the clock to go off. Now they have to get the first down. You can't clock it here. It's really your only chance.
And it's fourth down. Game on the line. Pressure comes. T.K. Williams can't bring it in. Perhaps because of the pressure, Kendrick was unable to be on target. And Texas Tech will take over with under a minute left. Survivors.
It was nice play design. He had a pivot route coming back in. He had him open, but to your point, Schooler and a host of other guys getting there that would not allow him. Channel, bringing some pressure.
And so Kansas will not win in Lubbock for the first time since 2001.
Excuse me, Morgenstern, who was applying the pressure there late. Schooler not too far behind.
Well, I think a lot of people who've seen Les Miles talk, we talked to him this week. I said it earlier, the relentless positivity, and his team today, odds stacked against it, no question. DJ Elliott, defensive coordinator, not coaching. Jordan Peterson coaching the defense. And they came ready to play, and to Texas Tech's credit, they certainly did not have their best, and they did not have their head coach today either. Matt Wells, Keith Patterson had the responsibilities, and they found a way to get it done.
Well, I'll tell you, the thing with this offensive line, they were much better than what I saw on tape. And that was the one thing I was concerned about coming into this game for Kansas. Texas Tech didn't do everything well, but when you can win, it doesn't matter how you win. If it's ugly or not, you get it done. So they have to be happy with that.
So Keith Patterson gets the win in place of Matt Wells today. Kansas will fall to 0-9. Les Miles' team had some fight. They still have one more game. They will play Texas next week. Texas Tech is now 20-2 all-time against Kansas, and they have their first winning record at home since 2015.
Yeah, the thing I'll say with this too, it's a good win for Texas Tech. You got some guys, but I look at Kansas. Karan Prunty showed me a whole lot. You know, you watch him on tape, you want to see what he looks like in person. He really came to play, and I think he's going to be battling Big 12 receivers throughout the course of his career. If I look on the other side, we didn't call his name a whole lot, but Zach McPherson was always around the football, another corner. But Eric Monroe, how many plays did he come up with late along with Colin Schooler? I focused on the defense because these defensive guys made a bunch of plays for both teams at different times. And I think you have to be encouraged by that if you're a coach on either one of these ball clubs.
Just 219 combined passing yards in this game. It was a knockdown, drag out. In the end, Texas Tech gets the win. 3 conference home wins for the first time in 11 years for the Red Raiders. And Kansas will have one last shot at things next week when they will host in a rescheduled game the Texas Longhorns. Daniel Highshaw carried the load for Kansas. What a game from Texas Tech's Xavier White. Almost 150 yards of production as Texas Tech survives. Coming up next, it's America's Day at the Races featuring the Cigar Mile Handicap. And there's lots more football action on FS1 and Fox.